Hello and welcome to our Hangout on Air. I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club, and we're on the web at theloaclub.com. On these Hangouts, we collaborate with our friends Tara. This Hangout is a summary of our theme for the week and continues with Q&A on our member conference call. Today's topic is worry. What is it? Why you do it? And how to quit. Our next open call is Tuesday, October 11th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can get invites to our open calls, which we offer about once a month, and our free letting go process by going to theloaclub.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. So now we go over to Robin and Tara. We welcome them. So here we go.
We welcome you here to our intersections this week, where we'll be exploring this subject of worry. Worry is the entertainment of a negative thought. It's you dwelling on the idea that something you really don't want to happen is possibly, or probably, or certainly going to. And it's a universally bad idea. Even if you've never heard of or you simply don't believe in the law of attraction, you can't worry and feel good. And feeling bad doesn't help you to create better circumstances in your life. Be vigilant if that seems necessary. Plan if you must. By all means, put in place strategies to avoid problems. But sitting around feeling negative helps nobody. Of course, if you do understand a little about the law of attraction, you'll know that there's another whole dimension to this subject, because you've come to understand that the way you think not only determines how you feel, it also creates your reality. So worry is not only a bad idea in a passive sense, it's a really dumb idea in a very active sense. On one of our recent calls, we heard these words: I'm a worrier. I make everything 10 times bigger than it is. To which we would respond, if you choose to worry, you're magnifying both the possibility of and the size and impact of that negative event. So this week, let's talk about curing your worry habit and turning you into a joyful creator. And let's be clear here. When we say there's a cure, we're not talking about a magic pill you can take. What we are talking about is a set of concrete steps that can help you to move from that old path and onto the yellow brick road. We're talking about a new way of thinking. We're talking about making different choices, choices you can make, choices that perhaps you haven't realized you always could make, choices that will change your life forever. From Abraham recently, worrying is using your imagination to create something you don't want. We say, Amen. Think about that. Whenever you're worrying, you're wasting creative energy getting to places you don't want to be. Now, we know that there's not one of you that ever wants to do that. So why do you do it? We're going to pull that apart a little here today. And as we do, we encourage you to make a commitment to change. Not just that's interesting, but a promise to yourself to begin to be a different you. Let's start by thinking carefully right now about that question. Why on earth do you choose to create what you don't want? So what's your answer? You could say, it's normal to worry. Everybody does it. We say what's normal and what everybody does is simply what you choose to believe about you and your world. You decide what's normal. When you use the word normal, what you're saying is, I've observed the world that's around me and this is the way things are. Well, of course, as you know by now, that's upside down thinking. You choose your thoughts and beliefs. Your beliefs create your world. Therefore, you are the one who's choosing what's normal. You could say, it's just the way I am. I can't just stop worrying. We say again, the way you are is just as much a choice as anything else. You're not a victim here. You're always at choice. As Bentinho puts it, you don't have to worry if you don't want to. You don't have to wait for things to change before you stop fearing that you're not bathed in an intelligent intention that takes care of you. You're free to worry and mistrust your higher self, but you don't have to. You could say, I'm just being realistic about potential future events. We say, phooey. Once again, your thinking is upside down. It's your thoughts that are creating those future events. You could say, well, it's a habit I've picked up. We say, bingo, now you're talking. And the first step to changing a habit you don't want is to get to this very place, calling it what it is. We're talking about changing habits. So let's think about a number of things here. What is a habit? What is worry? What are feelings? What does normal mean? What does being realistic mean? And then, how do you create a new habit? What's a habit? A habit is something you've trained your subconscious to do, which means a habit is something you do without thinking about it. 99% of what you do in your life is habit. That subconscious of yours is working non-stop, taking in data, deciding what needs to be done and doing it. When you're reacting, mostly your reactions are pre-programmed. When you're talking, there may be some original thinking involved in what you want to express, but your subconscious is choosing the words you speak. It balances you on two legs. It walks you. It talks you. It breathes you. It simply handles the minutiae of your minute-by-minute existence. What is worry? It's thinking about and dwelling upon things that could go wrong. Putting it simply, worry is thinking negatively about the future, and therefore worry feels bad. It can be about some particular thing, or it can be about everything in general. It can be continuous if you allow it to settle over you like a dark cloud. Sometimes it's momentary. Perhaps you feel a twinge in your body and your mind automatically leaps to, I know what that is. I've had it before. Or I'm getting older and that means I'm now going to have this or that problem. Either way, it's a pre-programmed way of thinking. Worry is a habit. What are feelings? When your now conscious beliefs and your trained subconscious beliefs are in alignment with what you really want to believe, you feel good. When your conscious or subconscious creative choices are taking you away from what you really want, you feel bad. That's it. The only feelings you ever feel are the extent to which your belief systems are in alignment. that's worth repeating. Feeling good or feeling bad always tells you the extent to which your belief systems are in alignment. You're creating it all. If you want to know at any time, in every instant, whether you're creating what you want, notice how you're feeling. What does being normal mean? It means fitting in with what most people around you do. But think about this. The world around you is always going to conform to your belief choices. If you believe most people behave in a certain way, by law of attraction, they will. And if you think of yourself as normal, then you will also behave that way. So you can't plead it's normal as a justification for anything. And that includes allowing unwanted habits to continue because you're the source of it all. If you want to change something, you need to embrace abnormality. What does being realistic mean? This one was watching a movie this week, and the characters in it were in a meeting and reciting the Serenity Prayer. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, those words may feel good to some people and therefore help them navigate through life. But we would encourage you with some words that are truly realistic. You are the God that's being addressed in that prayer. And if you will settle into comprehending and internalizing that staggering truth, then you will come to know that there's nothing you cannot change. Being realistic means understanding your limits when really you have none. It means deciding what you can't control when in fact there's nothing you can't control. It means facing the facts of the past as certain predictors of your present and in future, when in truth the only power your past has over your here and now is what you give it by believing in it. You have to face reality is about the worst advice you'll ever hear. It's right up there with hope for the best but plan for the worst. Unless, of course, reality is what you want more of, because that's exactly what facing it is going to bring about. If you want to fix something, be unrealistic. How do you create a new habit? Good habits are things you want to keep on doing. Almost all of your habits are good ones. Bad habits are things you want to stop doing, and there are some of those. Back along that trail of what you've trained your subconscious to handle, some of those choices are no longer serving you. Whether or not they ever served you in that so-called past of yours, they have definitely now passed their use-by expiry date. It's time to throw them out. It's time to commit to change. So let's look at the key ingredients of replacing old habits with new ones. Number one, be aware of how you feel. Are you worrying? Are you feeling bad for any reason? The first and most important habit to change is just plain noticing when you feel bad. Notice and 2, notice that you noticed. Sure, you're aware right now, but where does ever-present, ongoing awareness reside? It's mostly not the conscious you. It's the subconscious you. That vigilant, powerful part of you that's always monitoring things. Start training your subconscious to act as your GPS and signal to you something like, when possible, make a legal U-turn. So the next time you notice consciously that you feel bad, appreciate that you are noticing it. Tell your subconscious that this is exactly what you want to notice in future. And then, 3, what's the lie that sits beneath this feeling? Some choice you made way back when is not serving you. Right now, you're believing something that's out of line with the real you. Dig into it a little. You'll discover you actually have the ability to pull it to the surface and see it for what it is. Now pick some way of mentally relegating it to the scrap heap. You could use the letting go process that's popular in this community. Then ask, what do I want now? Allow yourself to start imagining. Be open to miracles. Get into the being place of having what you want. Make a commitment to move from doing is everything to thinking is everything. Automatic everything to deliberate some things. Being normal to being delightfully abnormal. Being so-called realistic to being truly realistic with a capital R. Worrying about what could happen to eagerly anticipating what will happen. From our friend Bashar. Don't worry and stress yourselves. Be the vibration of the manifestation you want. Do you want to be a success in your field of passion? It must be passion, a path of least resistance. Then imagine yourself doing what it is you want to be doing / accomplishing. Immerse yourself in role-playing the situation. Feel how you think you would feel accomplishing this. Do this for 10 to 15 minutes. Become efficient at it. It's all about the strong desire combined with acting upon your imagination. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And here's a short challenge from our friend Bentinho. My friends of this world, let me remind you that none of you are actually a person. Who are you without your habits, picked up by past experiences, saved as memories in the brain that only apply to this linear lifetime identity? Don't confuse yourself with the suit you picked to be here. It's just a suit. Imagine yourself not being able to remember your past and coming into this planetary sphere as if with a flash of lightning. Boom. You just appear here with love, light, presence, recognition strong in your awareness from spirit realm. And as you look around you without any habits or ideas picked up from this world, what do you see? How would you see and feel? What would you do? We say, here's what you would do. You would feel your hands in the clay, and you'd recognize the things you can do with that clay. You'd shape and mold and laugh and reshape and remold. You'd be having the time of your life as you reveled in this virtual reality. What an adventure this life on earth can be. We say, and this is what you can do right now. And this is what we say about worry. If you worry about your physical apparatus, it will hold the cells of your body apart from the energy and life force that allows them to function and thrive. If you worry about money, it will hold you apart from the hundreds of different doors that could open for you into new worlds of amazing ease and abundance. It literally renders those doors invisible. If you worry about the world, it traps you into a version of reality where people struggle, where there's injustice and unhappiness and hunger and war. If you worry about the relationship you have with those others in your life, it prevents you from experiencing the ecstasy of true connection. So if you're in the habit of making negative declarations about yourself, like, I'm a worrier, stop that silly stuff. That was the old you. The new you has committed from this time forward to focus a little more each day on what you really, really want. Let yourself settle more and more into that place of peace and power, fun and freedom. And as you do, you'll find that the better it gets, the better it gets. Better becomes the new normal. Your feet will land securely on those stepping stones in the stream of life. You'll move with ease and grace, and your confidence will just keep growing. Try it and watch what happens. We, of course, will be with you. And now let's talk some more on these things.
This Hangout on Air was a summary of our theme for the week. We do 3 live calls a week with Q&A for our members on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can become a member by going to the loaclub.com/join. Our next free open call is Tuesday, October 11th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Our longer discussion continues now with Q&A on our member line.